Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life, The Tell-All with Colt. Let's watch.
He had a roommate. No, it really isn't. I don't tell him what to do.
I'm going to be honest. I think it's time for Colt to get off the nipple, and you need to stop fighting.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, my God. Fuck you.
Thank you very much.
You get off the nipple. Why don't you go find somebody your own age instead of this precious little girl here?
Okay, so there's this. Now, Ed is speaking, I think, for a lot of people when they say that Colt needs to move out and this sort of thing. And I've been saying this from the beginning. There's nothing pathological about him living with his mom. People live with their parents in other cultures. In fact, there's other cultures where it's actually 90% of people still live with their parents, particularly if you're the only kid, that sort of thing. So there's nothing humanly pathological about it. It's certainly culturally pathological. There is stigma around grown men living with their moms, absolutely. But we all understand that cultural stigma isn't necessarily accurate when it comes to what is good in life, right? So we don't necessarily want to listen to society about that kind of thing. Now, might Debbie and Colt benefit from evaluating their relationship? Sure. But I don't know. They both have issues, let's put it that way, Colt and Debbie, particularly in this season with Jess. We see that Debbie has some issues. She has some relational traumas of some kind. She's very quickly undifferentiated, as we just saw it right now. Colt has his issues, absolutely. But is it solved by him moving out? Is it solved by the mom, by the mom moving out? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to solve the problem. Now, what I've been saying from the beginning, or from as soon as I had enough data, I'm really curious about the father, about Debbie's husband, and about the father of Colt. Colt is an only child, I believe, and so it was the three of them. And I'm really curious what role the father had in the family. What was he like as a father? I'm guessing he had a few flaws, but we don't know what those are. And then the father died, and the mother and the son were probably already close, and that drew them closer together, which is good. When there's a family member that dies and it brings the other family members together closer, you want that, of course. And it sounded like Colt was struggling with dating, and he was awkward, maybe busy with work or something, I don't know. And so they learned to depend on each other. They lived in a house together, and that's good. That's a good thing. We do not want to stigmatize that. There's nothing pathological. Now, you can think Debbie is an a-hole. You can think that Colt is a jerkface. That's fine. But we don't want to translate that into people who live at home with their moms are pathological, okay? And we really have to take case-by-case basis. So what I've been saying from the beginning is, how much grief did they actually go through in a healthy way? I don't know. Maybe they went through a lot of it. Maybe they didn't. It seemed like there was some unresolved grief there. It would be normal for there to be some residual grief for sure. The other thing is, Debbie seems like an extremely insecure person, and she seems to have no friends and no other people that she's connected with. And so all of her attachment needs are met through Colt, her relationship with Colt. And why would that be? Is that because she's a jerk face and she is controlling and dominating? I don't think so. What I think is present is she's too scared, probably due to her own history, to actually branch out and meet new people. And it's kind of hard to meet new people too. Particularly the older you get, because there's fewer venues in which you can just meet friends naturally. So what I would want to talk with Debbie about is that issue. What does she want in life? I'm guessing she would like to have other relationships with other people. Then that would give her other places where she can get her attachment needs. And she deserves to get her attachment needs met through multiple ways, not only through her son. She deserves to have a good relationship with her son. Colt and Debbie deserve and are entitled to having a close relationship. And the cast members on the show and society and people in the comment section sometimes talking about how they can't have that kind of relationship, I find to be stigmatizing to relationships, particularly adult men and their moms. there's something that we have in our culture. It's like anti-man. It's like this alpha male BS crap that we hear about sometimes. You got to be an alpha male, which means you have to be on your own, and you can't be a mama's boy, and all this notion. It's toxic masculinity, folks. It's not helpful. Is there something that their relationship needs to work on? Yes, absolutely. But is it inherently pathological because they have a close relationship? No. Does Debbie have personality issues? Does Colt have personality issues? Yes. Is that because they're close? No. If they were not close, they would still have the same personality problems. They would still exhibit the same problematic behaviors. It's not because they're close.
Ooh, this guy can get a 20-year-old. You don't care about how you feel about somebody. Why don't you find love instead of somebody that's a kid?
Listen, you baby him, you coddle him.
You don't know shit. Vanessa, do I baby Colt?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do I?
Here and there.
Okay, so Vanessa would know. Out of anyone here, she would know. And Debbie asked a direct question, do I baby Colt? And Vanessa's like, well, here and there. So what does that mean? What would that mean? And what would I think about it if I saw it? I'm guessing what that means is that Debbie treats him like he's younger, will make him dinners or something, and will pick up after him, or will, I don't know. But on the other hand, a lot of parents will always see their kids, no matter how old their kids are, as their kids, and will baby them on a certain level. Again, not inherently pathological. Now, might there be an element there where she is in a position of power over him and he likes to be dependent on her, and they have this residual relationship that's been retained since he was a child because they need it to stay that way? One possibility, if we go down this road of pathology regarding her coddling or babying him, is that when the dad died, their relationship roles froze in time because they were terrified of change, because when something changed earlier, someone died in the relationship. It's a subconscious feeling that systems will go through. And some of you might even be able to relate to this, is that when there's a tragedy or some kind of event or trauma in a family, sometimes elements or even a lot of elements of the family system will just become locked in place, because the system is terrified of change. We've had huge, terrible changes in the past, and so no one changed. No one changed their roles. No one changed their maturity level. No one changed their routines. No one changed their behaviors. No one changed the way they do anything, because if we change, then we could have something tragic happen again. It's a subconscious feeling that people have in systems. So maybe that's happening, and that keeps Colt in that child position, which keeps him immature, which keeps him in a mindset of someone who doesn't think like an adult. That could happen for sure. There's some mild evidence of that. Let's watch.
Son can't get off the nipple. Like, you got to let him grow up.
How is he on my nipple?
This has nothing to do with you. This is his life.
You just told him to get off the nipple. How is that involved? How
you
does
are
that
coddling
work?
him. You are babying him. He's never
going to
grow
doesn't
up.
baby you by brushing your hair, putting the mayonnaise in your hair. She doesn't do that.
Okay.
Shaving your back.
We're not supposed to talk about mayonnaise.
Okay, so on some level, it's possible that Ed's conceptualization is at least partially accurate, in that it's possible that the mom, Debbie, and Colt have a relationship in which it prevents change for the two of them so that they can actually enjoy a different life that is more age appropriate, and where Colt can feel more like an adult and Debbie can feel more like she doesn't have to take care of him all the time. They can still be close, is the point, but that the mother-son relationship might be holding both of them back, and that's possible. And if that were true, I would look toward the loss, the death of the father in the family as a possible factor in that dynamic being retained over time. But we see that Debbie is defensive about it, and one of the questions she asks is, how am I babying him, according to you, Ed? And I think that is a valid question, because I think Debbie is probably getting this a lot. I don't know how many seasons. Have they been on? Many seasons anyway. And if Debbie looks at the internet at all, I'm guessing that she is getting all these accusations that she's babying him all the time and that they're too close or something. And for her, her assertion is, look, yeah, I'm his mother and I live we live together, but I don't baby him that much. He has his own life. I have my own life. And we're more like adults living in the same house. So I'm guessing all of her energy towards Ed right now is this frustration of why is everyone on the internet assuming that there's some massive pathology going on in our relationship? What's wrong with our relationship? He is my son. I am his mother. We are close. We hang out. We enjoy spending time with each other. What is wrong with that? And I think that is a very valid reaction. The way she's coming across right now, I don't think is very effective. But since the beginning of this whole thing, back in the Larissa days, I kept looking for some massive pathology that was happening. When I was doing the Smothered TV show, which I might actually go back and do again, the Smothered TV show, the mother and the daughter relationships, the whole premise was that the relationship was too close between mother and daughter. And I can't remember exactly, but I think I remember there was only one relationship where I thought that was actually true. I think it was the Korean mom, but the mom was forceful on the daughter and would probably emotionally abuse her if she stepped outside of her high control. The other relationships, they just look culturally different. Not a lot of people are friends with their mothers in the way that they are on that show, Smothered. And I kept saying, I think in my reaction to it, just like, what is pathological about this? Yes, they're doing something that's culturally different, but is it psychologically pathological? There's just something about society. I don't know what it is. If I was to take a guess, at least one factor is that we have this taboo around parents and children being too close because of molestation, which of course we should be against. But then we translate that into whenever you're close between parents and children, then it's bad and it's creepy. Like when Asuelu kissed his mom, and it did look like they were kissing on the cheek. But what if they kissed on the lips? I kiss my mom on the lips. We don't kiss that long. It's just like boom. But that's what my mom kisses everyone on the lips. That's the way, culturally speaking, I don't know. And it's an intimate thing, but it's a loving thing. It's a cultural thing. Is it a creepy thing? No. I'm here to tell you, me and my mom do not have a creepy relationship at all. So the amount of shaming of that kind of relationship is, I think, part of the reason why people are so isolated right now. We can all agree that people are isolated, people are lonely, people are feeling disconnected from others. Why do we want to pile on to that problem by shaming any relationship where a mother and a son, a grown son, are close? Why do we want to do that?
I don't shave my son's back like your mother shaves your back.
Okay, first
I
of all,
don't brush his hair and put it in a ponytail
First of all,
like your mother does.
First
So
of all,
maybe you should get off the damn nipple.
First of all, it was a paintbrush, not a razor.
She saw you naked in the shower. I don't see Colt naked. I haven't seen him naked since he was 3. You have no right to give advice, dude.
I mean, she does have a couple points there. I don't think either one of them are right. I think they are attack. If Big Ed is going to attack Debbie, then I think Debbie, well, do two wrongs make a right? No, but there is some justice to her accusations or observations of his relationship with his mom, Big Ed.
She hates me and I hate her, so I don't know what the problem is.
A lot of people want to know, why do you hate Jess?
I hate Jess because she went after Colt when he was very vulnerable. She used her sexuality to get him to fall in love with her, which he was on board.
Okay, interesting. I wonder if Debbie is just saying this for the cameras or if she actually believes it. If she actually believes that is interesting. That does lend itself toward a dynamic, or at least in Debbie's mind, where she is the protector of the grown man Colt, that she is very possessive of Colt. And I don't know if we've heard that kind of language from her, or at least I don't remember Debbie saying those kinds of things. But who knows what that means? I could also see a scenario where she just wants to attack Jess because she feels threatened or something, and she's just coming up with some accusation to say, because there's not a lot you can really accuse Jess of. I mean, Colt was the one that cheated on Jess. Colt was the one that was lying to her about Vanessa being at home with the cats, all that whole thing. And Jess would get upset at that, which would make total sense. And then Debbie would lay into Jess about that. So if I was to take a guess, there are two hypotheses. One is that Debbie just doesn't have any good ammo to shoot at Jess and wants to hate her because Jess hates Colt and Debbie because they both participated in lying to Jess. And so she's just coming up with something to say. The other possibility is that Debbie actually does see herself does see Colt as a 10-year-old boy and treats him that way. And Colt actually likes being treated that way, and they're sort of locked in on that dependency relationship. But I didn't see a ton of evidence of that. So I would, if I had, the time and the space to actually investigate this whole thing with everyone, I'm guessing the first hypothesis would ring more true.
Girls, when he's with Jess, is that cheating?
What?
Is that cheating when Colt's sending his little dick?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so Colt
I
did that
never
when
said he didn't cheat on Jess. I said he did cheat on Jess. He never cheated on Larissa because he didn't give a shit about you, and it was a ridiculous relationship.
Why are you
Apologize.
not honest with
Do you
me?
listen when anybody talks, or you just keep talking?
Sean is a great stand-in for all of us. I think a lot of us might have that face of like, I think Sean's like, I think I should be intervening right now, but what is happening right now?
I'm sorry, Jess.
You liar. And your mom help you lie, and Vanessa help you lie. I write all the time.
Vanessa, do you feel that you need to apologize to Jess?
No.
Right, so I forgot about that one. Jess obviously has a huge reason to dislike Debbie, Colt, and Vanessa. They all conspired against her and hurt her, so she has every reason to be upset at all of them. And then when asked, Vanessa, do you feel sorry that you were, do you feel sorry to Jess? She says, no, I don't feel sorry to her. That's pretty callous. That's pretty, there's a lot of hurt there.
She has a valid reason. She does have a valid reason.
Then she tell me.
Get
Why you
over
never
it.
tell for
You did help her lie.
Yeah, cheat on people all the time.
Tell me.
Get over it. You have a valid reason. And he apologized. He apologized. What do you want him to do?
Okay, I just want to point out that Debbie did say that Jess has a valid reason. Through all that yelling, Debbie, I think, was saying Jess has a valid reason for being upset at all of us. I think that's what she was saying. But then she follows it up, and she should have just said that. You have a valid reason to be upset, period. Just end it. But then she follows it up with, get over it. He apologized. Move on. Now, if we're going on the hypothesis that Debbie does consider herself to be the mother of a 10-year-old boy, then this behavior would lend itself towards that hypothesis because she's trying to fight for Colt. You would want a mother to fight for a 10-year-old boy if there was a situation where he was being treated unfairly. Or even if there was a situation where he was being treated fairly, it's normal for a parent to be like protective of their children. You would want that in a parent. So maybe there is more to that dynamic where they see themselves as stuck in the past where he is a child and she is protective of him.
I want to go to Vanessa.
Oh my God, I did it. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Debbie, shut the fuck up. Let's have Colt talk.
No, don't tell me to shut up.
No, thank you. I know about the
All right, we're not going to be doing that.
Bitch.
Do not
Shut
tell
the
me.
fuck up.
Don't talk to her like that,
Knock
man.
it off. That's my mom.
Yeah, don't talk to her like that. She's a grown woman, man.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, so what was happening? I don't know. This is sort of Jerry Springer-ish, but so Debbie is just yelling and not letting Jess talk at all. She's pulling an Angela, let's put it that way, where you escalate, you talk over, you don't let other people talk. And Jess is just like, well, you just shut up. I don't even want to talk to you. Jess wants to talk to Colt and Vanessa, I think. And so Jess and Debbie are going back and forth. And then the new husband, he starts saying, hey, shut up, be quiet. And then everyone starts ganging up on him as if he probably was 1% of this entire Jerry Springer style yelling match. And now he's the bad guy because he, I don't know, it's just kind of funny little. Let's watch that again.
Oh my God, I did it. I'm sorry.
Fuck you!
Debbie, shut the fuck up. Let's have Colt talk.
No,
Like,
I
who the
don't tell me to shut
I
up.
don't date you. I don't know about the
All right, we're not gonna be doing
fuck up,
that.
bitch.
Do not.
Shut the fuck up.
Don't talk to her like that,
Knock
man.
it off. That's my mom.
Yeah, don't talk to her like that. She's a grown woman, man.
What?
Don't talk to her like that. Like somehow Debbie is off limits when it comes to reciprocating a little bit of the discussion. Now, I don't recommend any of these people talk to each other in this way, but Debbie is just throwing toxicity everywhere, and then this dude chimes in for like a second, and he's the bad guy.
What is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? You telling an old lady to shut the fuck up?
Yeah, because you're
Well,
yelling
you
at my
got
wife.
class.
I don't care how old you are. You have to
Class
be
and trash.
You treat
I've
everyone
had
with
it.
respect. If you don't.
Class and trash. Calling him as he. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Is there anything to say?
I don't respect me, I don't respect no one.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
you can't just treat anyone
I
how
can
you
do
want just because
anything
you're
I want.
old. I
Yeah,
don't
you
care.
can't talk to people
Okay.
like that just because.
You can do
I
whatever you
can do
want.
anything I
Okay.
want.
You can. Someone can
guys.
stop you.
I can
guys,
sit here and
hold on just
stare
a
at you
second.
all night, too.
You can do what?
Sit here and stare at you all night.
Go for it.
What is happening right now? What is happening? So, one, what is happening? Two, why? So, she's now trying to intimidate him, I guess, by staring into his eyes what she claims to be the rest of the night. Why? Like, what is happening? Now, we imagine that Debbie is in high distress right now. This isn't her normal self. And she feels, you know, when she feels threatened, she comes out swinging. We've seen a lot of people do this on the show. So what trauma is being triggered in this moment right now? I'm curious. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.